I'm going to tell you something that maybe you don't know. Perhaps people haven't told you this or you haven't seen this yourself. But when it comes to basketball in the WNBA, okay, you cannot, I repeat, now listen here, you cannot win a basketball game just by shooting 3 pointers. You can't do it. You might have two people on that team that can shoot 3 pointers, but eventually, after they shoot maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6, maybe even 7, even if they do shoot 7 apiece, that will not win the game. That can add to a game more points, but it won't win the game. And that's what New York found out when they faced a storm. Let's get into it. Now, when people see the New York Liberty playing anywhere with any team, right? They automatically assume, because they're the reigning champs, that they're going to probably win the game. It's somewhere in the back of people's mind that that's going to happen, I think. But I'm here to tell you that in the WNBA season 2025, anybody can win a game. There are so many different pieces on each team. We have a whole batch of new rookies that are in. We got folks who were out on injury. We got folks who were playing in the Eurobasket who've since come back. We got folks who are away playing in Brazil. So a lot's happening in the WNBA, right? That's just some of it that we know about. But check it out. With all these moving parts, anybody can win in the WNBA. That's just no doubt. So teams have to prepare to go into battle as soon as they hit that court. If they are not, they will lose because people are hungry. Teams are hungry. Is it different than other times? I don't think it's different. I just think that there are different players that add that hunger to different teams. Okay, New York Liberty. They're a great team. They were playing on their home court. All right. So they wanted to put on a good show. And they actually did. Okay. They actually did. They traded quarter for quarter with the Storm. Storm was up one point. So was the New York Liberty up 1 point. And then the third, New York Liberty tried to make a push. They tried to make a push. Okay. And it wasn't successful. In that fourth quarter, the Storm literally rained hailstorms on the New York Liberty. That's what happened. So what makes a team, especially after the half, tank? Could it be exhaustion? Could it be they're in their mindset? Maybe their mind is not in it? Could be. We don't know. It could be they're tired, their legs are tired. Could be. And also, let me just say this too, aside here, that the Liberty were down by Jonquel is out because she has an ankle injury. So the Liberty were down, that particular player, which is a crucial player on their team. Okay, so that throws them off a little bit too. Even though they played hard, without her, that's still a factor. All right. So, and they were going back and forth for a little while. Each one had a quarter, then try to make a push in the third. It didn't take place. The fourth came up, again trying to push, but they didn't have what they needed. It's like the steam went out a little bit. But the Storm had what they needed. Because see, what was happening here is that in the first half, Ionescu was shooting 3 pointers, like left and right. Boom, boom, boom. Okay? And that's good. It added points on the board, right? But that wasn't going to carry the team all the way through to the end. It never does. Because when you're hot, that means you're going to get cold sometime, right? And that's what happened with her. And so now you got to have other tools in your toolbox. You got to be able to shoot, in the paint. You got to be able to have transitional points. You got to be able to knuckle down and do what it takes to win the game. Get to the foul line, to the line, whatever it is. You got to knuckle down. The Storm played their game. They basically were good throughout the whole thing, although they gave some points to the Liberty. But the Liberty had a lot of turnovers. They had a lot of turnovers, and that helped the Storm. And so when you have lots of turnovers, you're not hitting 3-pointers, and you are on your home court, you want to make a good showing, but you're not, that might get into your mind a little bit. Just a little bit. Get nerved up a little bit. Okay? Even seasoned vets get, sometimes they get a little shaky. And that's what I saw in that fourth quarter, because we had, the Storm, who had Malanga, who is a 19-year-old, seriously tall, okay, forward center, who basically was hitting buckets and being defensive and getting rebounds. That brings me to another thing. If you're a team that doesn't have any bigs, you're already in trouble, especially when you're facing a team who might have 2 or 3 bigs. And for the Storm, they have like 2 or 3 bigs. Maybe not big in terms of like weight, but they're big in terms of height, which means they add a little, they're sturdy. Okay? And Jonquel, for the New York Liberty, is the one that they really count on to be there under the basket, getting the rebounds and getting the blocks, what have you. But she's not there. She's not there. So they tried to put other people in her place, but that didn't work. And they ended up losing to the Storm, which probably shocked them. Because if you're underestimating a team, and I'm not saying that they did this, but I'm just saying, if you underestimate a team, that team that you're underestimating is probably going to win. If you think, hey, we got this many points, we're doing this way, we're doing that way, and you're in the bottom of the third going to the fourth quarter, still anybody can win. And that's what the Liberty found out. Let's take a look at some things here. Look at what happened in each quarter a little bit. All right, first quarter, Seattle 22, New York 18. Second quarter, Seattle 19, New York 26. You see, they went back and forth, right? Then we have third quarter, 22 Seattle and New York 6. Now Seattle made a push. They made a push to win that game. Okay? And then the last quarter was 16 Seattle and New York was 20. But at that time, it was over. New York had still lost. They ended up winning 79 Seattle Storm to 70 New York Liberty. Okay. See, in basketball, there's strategies, there are actions and schemes, and that each team goes through. There are teams who have 3-point shooters. There are teams who are good at defense and blocking shots and stealing balls. And if you have all those things going on in your team, chances are you're going to win. And if you're hot, hey, that's going to carry you a long way. But at some point, you get cold. At some point, the shooters stop shooting. At some point, when the other team, the opponent, was not shooting as well as you were, now they get back up and they begin to push. And that's what the Storm did. Check it out. Seattle Storm. Nneka had 15 points. Gabby Williams had 16 points. Easy had 14 points. Skylar had 13 points. Erica Wheeler had 5 points. Off the bench, Clark had 5 points. Malanga had 11 points. The rookie had 11 points. Okay? And she had 8 rebounds. 8 rebounds. All right? And as far as 3-pointers, Gabby had 2 of 4. Skylar had 1 of 5, and Erica had 1 of 5. Okay. As far as their rebounds, they had 35 rebounds as a whole. They had 6 blocks as a whole, and 11 steals as a whole, and 21 assists. Okay. And they ended up having 10 turnovers. Now let's go with New York. See what New York did here. Breanna Stewart had 8 points, which she usually makes a lot more than 8, but they held her at 8. 8 points. Burke had 4 points. Fybeck had 7 points. Cloud had 12 points. And Ionescu had 22 points. Then we have from the bench, we have Sabley had 6 points. Gardner had 8 points. And Davis had 3 points. As far as 3-pointers, we have Fybeck had 2 of 3. Cloud had 2 of 3. And Ionescu had 5 of 11, which is really great. And then, okay, that's it. Then as far as blocks, they had 5 blocks, 7 steals, 17 assists, 36 rebounds, and it had 15 turnovers. They had 15 turnovers. 15. All right, we think about the percentage in terms of 3-pointers. It was 29.4 for the Storm, and it was 37.5% for the Liberty. And field goals for the Storm, 45.1, and for the Liberty was 35.3. That's a big difference there, right? And then for the free throws, it was 71.4 for the Storm and 81.3. All right. And there's one last thing I want to share with you here, and that is this. Okay, like I said, the Storm had 11 turnovers and New York had 17. Points conceded off turnovers, 11 from Seattle, okay, and 20 from New York. Points in the paint, 44 Seattle and 28 New York. Fast break points, 9 for Seattle and 11 for New York. Okay. The largest lead that the Storm had was 19. The largest lead that the Liberty had was 5. All right. So there you have it. You have it where you can't depend on just 3-pointers. You got to be able to go into the paint. You got to be able to have transitional baskets. You have to be able to, work as a team and be able to practice great defense. Great defense. All right. And don't send the opponent to the line. All right. So all of these things combined, we can see why the Storm won. The Storm rallied in the fourth. Okay. Actually, they started rallying in the third and continued in the fourth. So by that time, New York could not catch up. All right. So I want to invite you to think about this. When it concerns teams, think about the teams that say last year or last season, 2024, and this season compared to this season. And the rookies that came in last season, rookies that came in this season. Think about how the teams are making adjustments and how these new pieces fit in. Okay. And think about what that is doing to the team itself. Okay. Because they have to adjust, they have to have chemistry, they have to know the schemes and the actions, they have to understand, especially if you're a point guard, where you need to send the ball, where you need to make sure this person is going to be positioned. There's a lot of things for a point guard to figure out if they're new. Okay. Then you got to understand, what your job is if you're a rookie, on the team. So there are a lot of missing pieces, a lot of different things going on. And if you have people out because of sickness or illness or something like that, or they're injured or whatever, then you have basically, a lot to deal with. So I want you to really think about that anybody can win in the WNBA on any given night. The key thing that I want to see, what I want to see as a fan, is I want to see a battle. I just want to see a battle. I want to see two teams come on that court prepared to battle. Okay, and depending on the strategies, depending on their arsenal of tools, depending on their defense, depending on their ability to have a good offense, depending on their ability to carry out their push and to be quick on the floor and to really have a lot of transitional buckets and to have rebounds, depending on how much they put all this effort into it, that's who's going to win. Okay, that's who's going to win. And you know what? That's the good thing about this season. We never know. We never know. You can have 2, 3 games where you lose, and then you have 2 you win. You have 2 you lose, you have 4 you win. All right? So this is actually a great time to be watching the WNBA, actually. So all that said, New York Liberty are a great team. So is the Seattle Storm. Neither team is to be underestimated at all. Just so happens that on the 6th, when this game aired, it was the Storm that won, the Storm that was greater that night, pretty much. So if you're enjoying my content, if you like my perspective on things, hey, subscribe. Come join my channel. Come join the family over here on this channel. And hey, love to have you. Love to have you. It's my personal invitation to you. Also, give me a thumbs up because that helps me a lot. And tap the bell so that you can be notified and aware of when there's going to be new content posted. Okay. So all that said, my name is Barbara around the WNBA. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, go Fever, peace, blessings.